What is up, guys? Thank you so much for clicking that play button. Welcome back. This is season 2. And yes, I had to blow your speakers up because I'm about to blow your mind, Paul.
Wow, okay.
This your girl, Alexia. Thank you. Welcome to season 2 of Behind the Struggle. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok at Asexia, on the gram at Lexia Lou, and of course, I'm joined with my rapper CEO.
What's up, guys? It's me, your boy CEO, the other half of Behind the Struggle. It's good to be back to you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed season 1, and I hope that you guys have returned for season 2. But we're definitely here back. And Alexia, what did you want to talk about today?
I wanted to kick off this season with something, I guess, a little heavy. Pause, because
What the hell?
I'm gonna be real with you guys. Yo, I'm about to open up my heart, okay? Shut your mouth. Let me keep it real.
Wow.
I have been, trying to walk closer with Jesus, and on my journey while walking with him, a lot of things obviously are coming up. Things that like would help me grow and this, that, and the third. But the biggest thing that sort of it recurs like almost the most, and it's also very alarming, actually. And I wanted to ask you, Chris, because this is very serious. Now,
Okay.
if you guys are not Christians, that is okay. Please keep listening. And if you are, I do hope that this somehow benefits you, just because I'm not trying to convert anyone for this podcast, but I did want to address Chris directly, and I felt that it would benefit actually the listeners, or hopefully. So, are you ready? Did I scare you away already?
You didn't scare me away, but definitely sounds like you actually have something to say, so I'm very intrigued right now.
I know. I feel like I was talking more about my personal struggle, but this isn't about me. No, so there's a lot.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, where do I fit in all this?
I know. I'm sorry. No, I was just trying to make it relatable, even for people that weren't necessarily children of God. But anyway, the point is, you hear a lot about obviously how easy it is to sin and how we all sin every day, all day, right? So the thing is oh, all you got to do is basically repent, whatever, blah, 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 turn to God. Okay. Right. But actually
Mhm.
it is crazy how easy it is to sin. And I'm just asking you personally and the audience, what would actually what sin is too far for you? Would you legit be willing to sell your soul for something that you want? And I only bring that up, Chris, because I wanted to ask you, especially as a rapper, right? In the hip hop and music industry, have you heard of the Illuminati?
Yeah, I've heard conspiracies and stuff about that on YouTube and stuff.
So do you believe there's such a thing in the music industry, or do you think it is all conspiracy nonsense?
I definitely believe there's some truth to it, but I don't know if it's all true, and I can't really say 100% for sure because I'm not that deep into the industry. Pause.
Okay, so I guess as your manager, I want to know what do you desire most in this life, and would you sell your soul for that thing?
Okay, well, I think if you were asking me this about 10, 15 years ago, in my 20s, I definitely would have made some compromises, and I think because I just wouldn't have known better, I would have been a bit more desperate, so I would have liked to take the easy way out, but
Interesting.
yeah, but I think now I don't think there is anything I would, just because where I am currently in my walk with God, and hearing that question leads me to believe, and you tell me if you agree or not, but anything that would ask you to part with your soul, your essence, in order for something material or tangible in this world, I don't think would be from God. I think that's from something else, I guess you could say the devil.
Okay, but I mean, obviously I'm not Jesus, right? So I'm not here
Crazy.
to preach to the listeners or whatever. But I mean, everybody wants something.
Of course.
There's no way you don't. So I guess in your learned experience, obviously you know the difference between eternity and this life. And I think that's something that's really hard to dissect because this life is all we know.
Yeah.
So, like, eat me, even, like, out of sight, out of mind. Like, this life is all I know. So obviously, like, nobody is like out here like, ugh, I want to die like right now because whatever's on the other side is better, right?
Hmm.
They want to stay here because that's all they know. So, like, I don't know if, let's say, for lack of better term, the devil literally was like, I'll make you immortal. All you got to do is give me your soul because you don't need it anyway because you're going to be immortal. Like, what would you do?
I'm sorry, but that sounds like torture. Immortal? Bruh. No, thank you.
Well, maybe to you, but not to everyone. I feel like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I guess so. I mean, I guess it depends on the person. I'm just an individual. I would not want to be immortal. I'm like, bruh.
Yeah. So I guess it's hard, but like look at the bigger picture. Like eternity is literally an infinite number of years. Like if it was like the desert,
I mean, how do we even grasp that? We can't mentally grasp that.
you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've said like imagine the whole desert in Africa. Our life is one grain of sand, and the desert is like whatever not even like half of whatever everything else is. So like obviously putting it in those terms, I don't think anyone really would sell their soul for an eternity of misery versus that whole desert filled with, happiness. But
Yeah.
have you heard that like Beyonce, Jay-Z, Eminem, and like many others have sold their souls to be famous in the hip hop industry?
Yeah, I've heard theories on that. They've even said that, Jay-Z will throw up the diamond with his hands, and that's supposedly like an Illuminati symbol that harkens back to the pyramid on the dollar with the all-seeing eye, and Beyonce and
Oh, that is way too much for this podcast. I hear what you're saying,
yeah.
but let's not get into
Yeah,
all
I'm just saying,
that.
like, I've heard those theories, and like Drake, the sixth god, when he does the OK symbol, is supposed to symbolize 666, the mark of the beast. But I think that's going to the realm of conspiracy. Like, I don't really think there's any real proof in that. I think it's just people really like jumping off into the deep end.
Okay, so I guess being that you're an aspiring artist, obviously because I'm your manager, you're trying to make it in the music industry. If there was a way where it could be set up for you, like guaranteed that you'd become a multi-platinum music artist with your albums everywhere by next year, what would you be willing to do to get it?
Okay, well, like I said, that's a double-sided answer. I mean, because, like I said, if I was younger, anything they would probably tell me to do, right, depending on what it was within reason, because when you're at a certain point in your life.
So what's within reason? Because I've heard of parties where Lady Gaga's attended and like willingly, I don't know, I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, but like cannibalism and like, crazy shit.
I can't do nothing like that. Oh, that's
okay. So you're not eating no humans,
no,
but like
definitely not. Jeez, I don't know. Like, what are some of the things that, as far as that, that they would ask you to do? Because
what do you mean? I know. I don't know.
I'm just wondering if you have any ideas. And you're asking these questions, and I'm just like, I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to like give any validity between any conspiracy theory or any artist. But I have heard a bunch of artists, let's say, link up with someone specific, and this woman would have them like, oh, all you got to do is this, that, and this, and then I'll give you all this fame. And that requires, like, I imagine selling your soul, whatever that literally means. But they'd be like, you have to go into the forest in winter naked and survive out there for 3 days by yourself.
No.
Would you do that?
No. You know what's funny? You bring that
Why?
up because, real quick tangent on a little side story. I once got caught up in a pyramid scheme, and I didn't know. So I went to, like, this meeting, and this guy had, like, this house, and my mentor, like, brought me, and, like, oh, I wanted you to meet this guy that has this mansion, right? And there's a point to this, because it kind of harkens back to that running naked in the snow, and you got to survive and shit. And I went to this house, and there's all these people, these strangers there, and they were like, oh, we want to welcome our new members. And I remember when I went to this house, I purposely made sure I was as close to the door as possible because I was like, I've heard of shit where like they bring people and then the new recruits are basically hunted and they have to kill them in order for them to get a certain spot. And I was like, I'm telling you right now, if someone tries to come for me, I'm out. Like, I'm right by the exit. So, nah, like, so I was given that ultimatum. No, thank you.
That is a crazy story, and I think we need to do a hot take on whatever that is because I'm so confused.
But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, no, but let me be a little more like
Okay.
specific because that was an example that I think I heard about. But there are conspiracies according to the music industry where they have to do one of like 7 things.
Okay.
So, okay, obviously sell your soul. Again, whatever that entails, like literally signing a paper, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like maybe being filmed to dress in drag, pedophilia,
Oh, hell no.
murder.
No.
What about like gay porn?
Nah, some big balls.
What about the death of a loved one?
Like, I have to kill them?
I don't know. They have to die.
Nah.
But like someone you really love, not someone you kind of love.
Nah, I can't do that. Even
Just one.
Nah,
Chris,
bro.
just
Even
one
you
person.
asking me that and me like thinking, I had to take a deep breath because that weighed super heavy on my heart.
Oh, I was gonna say that was the only one you paused on, so that's the one you thought about. But never mind. What about satanic worship or symbolism in like medium of your choice?
Oh, that's kind of going back to like that Jay-Z and Beyonce stuff, like throwing up diamonds and stuff. Nah,
I mean, I guess that would be the easiest one, but I
that
don't
would
know.
be the easiest. Yeah, but like if presented in that order and I finally got to that one last, I'll be like, these all sound kind of sus. No thanks.
That's probably why it's in that order. Then it would let you choose the last one, and then after you get desensitized from that, it moves up a tier, and then it's like that's not that bad because you've already done this, and then it keeps going up and up until you actually sell your soul. That's probably why it's in that order.
Yeah. You know, it's funny.
I don't know why dressed in drag would be right before sell your soul. I feel like murder would be there. I don't know who made this list.
You know, it's funny that you said that because I was looking, thinking about the questions you were asking as far as like the murder, the gay sex film, and the pedophilia, and it kind of, I mean, this is going to be way after those events happened at Balenciaga that I'm sure everybody knows about with the child pornography and all the other stuff like in their ad campaign. But it kind of goes back to what you're saying, right? Like, if I believe there's such a thing like this in the music industry, or do I think it's just fake conspiracy nonsense? But then you see stuff like that, and you're like, it leads you to question, like, how did that like slip through the cracks?
Yeah, otherwise, is the industry sort of literally being like, no, it's just a conspiracy. Shh, go to bed.
Exactly. And it's literally like child pornography that they're promoting. So it's like crazy sus. And I don't think that's something that's just by accident. It's a crazy coincidence, especially within that certain industry. And, you with this list of things that they want you to do and that just recently happened. So, yeah. Definitely raises some red flags.
I think it happens more recently than any of us think, actually. But anyway, that's a topic for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you're a rap artist, you
Thanks.
know, you want to reach people. But like, do you want to be famous?
That's a good question. So when I was younger, I think I sought that in order to kind of prove people wrong in their preconceived notions of me. Because when I was younger, I guess I had the mindset, I'm sure a lot of people feel like this, where people doubt you or don't think you're going to amount to nothing. So it's like when you become famous and, on TV, it's almost like you kind of...
Oh, then it's like you throw it back in their face, like, told you so.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's like, it's like that saying, they say like the greatest form of revenge is massive success. But...
I never heard that.
Yeah. But as I've gotten older and me myself now, I personally do not want to be famous. I want my work to be recognized and my talent to be recognized, but I don't want to be such a familiar face where, the in and outs of my personal life. Like, I can't even go to the store. Like, I think
That's fair.
if anyone, I think if there was one person that I would kind of like to mirror, I guess, somewhat of a career to, it would be kind of like J. Cole or like even Nas. It's like they're known within their industry, like within their talent, like the music they put out and for their skill, but you don't really know anything much about their personal life other than what they tell you within the music.
So are you convinced then that neither of those artists did sell their soul for that fame?
I can't say that for sure, but a part of me is just because the stuff that Nas, Cole, and even Kendrick talk about, they constantly bring up God. Like, there's a lot of religious themes in their music, so I don't think that would be the case. And I think that's why Eminem was one of those people that got thrown in there, because I'm sure you've seen that photo with Eminem kind of like throwing up like the devil horns.
His contract literally said he couldn't say the word Jesus for what, a decade or something?
Exactly, and that right there was kind of crazy, right? Like, why would you put something like that in a contract for the music industry? So I thought that was kind of weird, and it wasn't until recently when he was on the DJ Khaled album was the first time you ever heard him talk about God. So I think that's why people thought.
I heard that album.
I'm sorry.
That record was recorded a long time ago, actually, but it couldn't be released until that contract was timed out.
Yeah, but you see, that kind of goes back to like the conspiracy part of it, because Eminem may have recorded that, like you said, 5-7 years ago, and maybe 5-7 years ago, people were like, "Oh, he sold his soul to the devil. That's why he sells the most records." But it's like, bro, I've been made a song about God, but I can't put it out due to my contract and like the image that they want me to portray. You know what I'm saying?
Then why is his latest album a picture of him with the devil horns and like a bunch of symbolism?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of that stuff is in order for shock and awe, right? Because remember when Lil Nas X came out with that music video where he was basically giving the devil a lap dance, and then he had like his shoes.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, and
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then he was trying to sell his shoes that had like a vial of blood in it with like a pentagram on it. I think a lot of that stuff is just for shock and awe to like really like surprise people.
But that's negatively adding to the, industry's conspiracy crap. And these kids are, no offense, kids, I'm saying like these young adults are like eating it up, and whether or not that rapper did sell their soul, these kids are like, they sold it and it's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. But I think to your point, what you're saying with that is like a lot of these kids, especially in impoverished neighborhoods, right? They're desperate. So they idolize these people that they see on the TV, and they would be what they see that as the pinnacle of success, but they don't know what happens on the back end of that. And then these other artists who were once those kids that got into the industry, so they're willing to do whatever to remain relevant, will put certain things in the video, not realizing the subliminal messages they're sending to the people consuming that.
So the industry that they are working for are still working behind the scenes, probably, and these artists have no idea, but they're actually reaching so many more people by doing so, even if they haven't fully committed. That's interesting, actually. Well, I want to ask you, though, at what cost would you be willing to achieve all that?
Honestly, just through hard work and my faith in God, as cheesy as that sounds, but honestly, that's what it would be. I mean, Dave Chappelle once said something, because, the whole thing where he had the Chappelle show and then he kind of disappeared and people said he was crazy. And, when he came back, he had like an interview with somebody. And he basically, it's like his father told him, like, make sure you name your price. And if it ever gets to be any more than that, leave. Because now you have to question the motive behind it. So let's say hypothetically my price was like,
well said.
Yeah, the thing I would want, I was like $5 million. And I'm like, I'd be good. And then someone's like, I'll give you $50 million. I'll be like, that's way more than I'm ever going to need. Like, and what would I have to be willing to do to obtain that? And like, what would you want from me?
That is a lot of self-control, and that is a lot of faith in God.
That is, and I think that's why it's important. And I don't want to sound preachy,
to set those boundaries for yourself. I agree.
Yeah, and for people to get to know God, because the world can manipulate you and push you in so many directions, and the peer pressure and all that stuff that we're talking about with like the imagery and the music and all that is very persuasive. So I think that's why you need to anchor yourself in your faith, and whether it be in God or another religion, and to each his own. I'm not trying to put that onto anybody, but I think that's very important because something you were saying also earlier within the music industry, which, like you said, like they try to orchestrate things in the contract to prevent people from doing certain things. Like, I think we said this on a previous podcast in the Is Hip Hop a Cursed Culture? Like, I've always found it pretty interesting that the most popular music, and I know you hate this genre of music, in hip hop is the drill music, like the gangster rap. Like, why is it hip hop is the only genre of music that glorifies killing, drug dealing, and stealing? No other genre of music really glorifies that. And it's like, and there are other things in hip hop that talk about other stuff than that, right? That's why I think Kendrick.
Yeah, they're being marketed way more with the drill subjects that you mentioned.
Yeah,
right?
And I think that's why Kendrick is such an anomaly, because he talks about a lot of like spiritual stuff, but it's still being able to break into the mainstream, and so is Nas and kind of J. Cole, but they're far and few between. It's like you hear more of the other stuff than you do that. And I think because
like you have to seek out the other stuff.
Exactly. All the other stuff is readily available, played on the radio all day. You hear songs about killing, money, stealing, drug dealing, and sex. It's all you really hear. And when you're young, you're very impressionable.
You don't have to put an effort in to get that. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's very true.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I don't know why, because you freaking put it in my head. I hate you. About the pole dancing and the lap dance on the devil music video. And it's just, I don't know. I'm thinking about it because you brought it up, but it's so annoying how Homeboy could like do the splits way better than me. But I wanted to know, like, do you think there's a certain level of like feminization of hip hop that has occurred more lately than like the gangsta alpha male type rap? I mean, like you just said drill, but I'm literally talking about like these rappers that come out and like, especially, Lil Nas X, that was like, I'm gay just so he could get, I don't know, more traffic. And then he commented on some girl's post that she was a baddie, and everyone's like, he's not gay, remember? So like what's going on?
Yeah, okay, so I do believe there is a certain level to that, and it kind of going back to those 7 things that they be asking, like one of them is like, would you be willing to be filmed dressed in drag? I think plays in that because, and to quote Chappelle again, when he was talking about naming your price, and I don't know if you know about this, but every famous black actor from like the 90s and the 80s, when they were getting into movies, if you Google and you'll find it, at some point in their career, they were put in a dress. They were made to wear a dress and act like a woman in disguise, whether the movie called for it, but it's very... that's very coincidental.
Like everyone had to be a Tyler Perry because it was supposed to be funny?
Yeah, something like that. But I think once again, it goes back into the feminization of, hip hop, but also black men. Because historically, we're going to go here real quick. If you're going from like prejudice or racism, right? A lot of people were kind of imprinted with this fear that black men will steal and kill or, rape your wife or, your daughter or whatever. So they were seen as like dangerous and violent. So when you had these gangster rappers like NWA and, Ice-T.
That only added to the fear.
Yeah, exactly. Because like they're like, damn, like these guys are in their face, like Tupac, Biggie, Snoop Dogg, Dre. And it's like, damn, like, I'm not fucking with them. Like, you get scared.
But I don't remember any of them wearing a dress.
Exactly. So that's why I think a part of it now, I think it definitely started after 50 Cent a bit more, where you kind of saw the decline of gangster rap, because even some of the drill rappers, they still wear like very like tight skinny jeans. There was that whole fad, but they were still sagging it with like their ass hanging out.
Wait, can I say something? Because
Sure.
I don't listen to drill, but like I know someone who does, and he loves to show me these drill songs, right? And he's like, oh, there's this new thing. I forget what it's called. For the sake of the podcast, I'm so sorry. But it's this like dance move, and they call it something. And I don't remember what it's called, but they're like, oh, this goes so hard. If you know how to dance like this, you're a real one, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, You know when like drag dances when they like literally like sort of fall down or whatever,
Yeah.
or they like go that's the move. So I'm like, do you realize that this dance is like it's a drag dance? Like I don't, and I'm sorry, the words are escaping me, but like this move, and I'm trying to say it because obviously this is a podcast and not a video. Where like they like go down really fast, and you know how like I guess the Russians used to do that, and they used to stick their legs out while they were down.
Oh,
And
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But without the sticking the legs out, they just go down and back up, and then down and then spin, and then down on one leg and then up. That is drag.
Yeah, and stuff like that, is happening a lot more prevalent.
These rappers don't even know they're doing that. It's like insane.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, they don't realize it. Like, there's literally a video of like Bobby Shmurda before he got locked up, where he's basically
I met him.
oh, all right, he's basically performing his album for the record execs before he like released it. And the video is very embarrassing because you have all these corporate music industry heads sitting in suits like in an office like conference room, and he's dancing, jumping on the table, rapping, or performing it for them, and it looks like a monkey performing on stage on command. And to me, it's like it looks very dehumanizing. And going back to the question is like the feminization of hip hop. I definitely think that is a thing that's happening, and they don't even realize it because you see people wearing more colorful stuff, the tighter the clothes, and all sorts of stuff, and it's like. I
think that also speaks to what this artist is willing to do.
Exactly.
Like how much of a monkey are you willing to be?
Exactly.
That sounded racist. I meant to say puppet. Please, guys, like I'm talking about anyone, not just rappers.
Yeah.
How much of a puppet are you willing to be? Because if you're willing to be 80%, then I can find someone that can make you 90%, and then I can find someone that can make you 99%.
Exactly. And I think that's how they do it. They slowly get you comfortable with doing some stuff, and then you slowly become more comfortable doing the other things. And I think the feminization is really to just make black men like seem less threatening, and it's also a weird form of covert control behind the scenes. It isn't so obvious.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I definitely think there's that.
Then I think hand in hand with that is like the devil will literally come to artists disguised as a friend and like offer them what they want. And then obviously that friend, you trust them, so you do sign your soul away, but it's the devil.
I mean, that's how the devil always works.
Yeah, it's usually the people that are close to you. It's not like this scary looking enemy thing.
Yeah.
So it's like obviously your circle should be small because, it's not like you can trust everyone.
Exactly.
And not everyone serves you in every season of your life. But like, I guess what if I came up to you, Chris, as your manager, and I was like, you know what? We got a deal. It's crazy. You need to just sign this paper and we're fucking lit. Would you do it?
First of all, if you said it like that, I'd be like, this is not Alexia talking. this is Sid, because...
Well, it would be me, but it wouldn't be me. You feel me?
Yeah, I know.
Pause.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, it's something working through you, but using you as the vessel. And...
Yeah, so I guess, how would you protect yourself from that?
Yeah, well, I think that kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, right? Like, it's important to build a relationship and your faith in God so you can realize these things, because I would hope, and I don't know, I mean, we ever cross that bridge, but something were to happen like that and you came at me with some kind of offer, like, I trust you as someone who's in my life, but at the same time, I care enough to check you if I think, like, you're acting weird, and I think I know you well enough to be like, this is kind of, like, not in character of Alexia, because me knowing you don't really just, like, oh, great, that's it, boom, hop in. Like, you are very thorough. Like, you analyze things, and you try to make sure, so...
Well, not everyone's like me, so...
Obviously, that's what I'm saying. So, that's how I said, I would hope that if that ever happened, I mean, I hope not, I would be able to realize it, because, yeah, I could be led astray because of my relationship and that I trust you, then I might be like, all right, well, I trust Alexia, so yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, it might be too easy then if the devil's listening. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Wait, so I'm just kidding. Let's take the devil out of it, though, for a sec, because there might be some non-believers, or maybe it's literally not the devil. Do you think that it could be like the plan of just some rich white people who run the industry that people confuse for the work of the devil?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely think that. I mean, going back to, once again, our first episode, what we were talking about is hip-hop or curse culture. We talked about the systemic racism and things that are in place in order to, like, oppress, like, certain races. So I definitely think some of that stuff is just racism, and people think of it as the devil at work. But at the same time, that could be the devil at work, because for me, truly, like, racism is just evil. Like, you just...
Didn't you say white man is the devil? So it's the same thing?
Yeah, well, you know, I think that's something people used to say because they associated the white men with, like, enslaving their people and taking their brother and sister and killing them. So it was like, damn, that guy's the devil, you know? So I think they associate it like that. But people can confuse the two. But like I was saying, racism is just pure evil, you know? And I definitely think that is, you know, work of the devil. And I think when people start to see it for what it is like the army of darkness versus the kingdom of God, like you see it really for what it is.
Well, what it is God is love. So like
Exactly.
pure love. So God didn't create hate or fear. That is the absence of love. Just like, obviously, like, you know, light exists, but when you turn the light off, the dark comes, but dark is the absence of light. It's not like you can direct a beam of dark at me.
Yeah, like you can't measure darkness just like you can't really measure cold. Like,
yes, you can.
What? No, I'm saying like because usually cold is just the absence of heat.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All of these things that are from like the devil or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That is exactly the opposite of love, and that's the opposite of God. So I guess, like, again, not trying to shove, like, my beliefs down our listeners' throats.
No, you're just answering from what you're realizing and seeing. I mean, I hope no one takes it like that.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I hope not. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, the devil will come for you, and he will come at you. But I think what's even scarier than that, which we didn't talk about at all, which this is not a Bible study, guys, but a lot of times I find that, like, you know, I said in the beginning, like, we all innately sin, like that just happens all the time.
Yes.
But some of us, you know, stay sinning, and we're justifying these sins with more sins, and it's just like sins on sins on sins, and we're never, you know, reconciling for these or whatever, for whatever reason. So really, a lot of times the devil doesn't even show up. He doesn't have to be there. You're doing everything that he would have been done.
Big facts.
Because you're doing it.
Big facts.
So it's like like, I'm not saying, like, you know.
It's like a toy soldier.
You know,
like he just winded you up and you just started going automatically.
I'm just trying to say, I guess, like, be more aware of, like, your actions, really. Like, whether you're a Christian or not, it's like, you know, right from wrong is, I think, the same in every religion. Now I'm confusing myself. But
no.
Anyway,
I get what you're coming from. You're definitely right. I mean, people need to learn to be more aware of these things, because I think a lot of people are trying to find loopholes or excuses to excuse their actions. Well, I did this because of that, but it's like, you know, deep down it's just wrong.
Yeah, or like, oh, I already sinned this morning, so if I sin the rest of the day, it's the same sin or something. Like,
exactly.
Whatever.
It's like if you're trying to get back in shape and you like ate a piece of cake in the morning, like, oh, well, I guess I'll start tomorrow. I already started off today bad. It's like,
exactly.
You know.
Nice parallel, Chris. Good job. So, I mean, let me ask you then, all that being said, do you think you can be successful without playing this game?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, we brought up some examples of artists before that I don't believe are playing that game. But
oh, okay, we don't believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
But yeah, I think there's a certain level of success that you can attain. But I think it also is up to the individual. Is like, what do you define as success? You know, I mean,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for someone, success could be making $120,000 a year. So like, yeah, I'm successful. I live comfortably. Or like I said, like, if I'm able to make a comfortable living and my work is recognized and people appreciate and recognize my talent, like that's enough for me. I don't need to be
And
like
that touches then one of the seven deadly sins of greed, obviously, because like if you're like 120,000 a year will make me happy. Once you get there, are you going to stay there, or are you going to be like, well, I made it to 120. Let's see if I can make 240. That would make me really happy.
oh yeah, of course, and that I think that's kind of like that ego. Or I mean, look, I am someone who I consider myself to be very ambitious, so that's definitely something I wrestle with. But at the same time, I've actually thought of these things, so it's interesting that you're asking these questions. And I just need enough where I can live comfortably and I don't have to really worry about money, and I can help the people that I love, like that are in my life. But once again, that comes to what do you define as success? Because like we were saying earlier, some people's success is like revenge, so they kind of want to rub it in people's faces. So they want to be on the biggest stage, they want to be on the yacht or on a private jet with like a bunch of supermodels, just to portray a certain image or lifestyle that is not true to who they are in their heart. But it's like all that.
I mean, a
stuff
lot
is
of people
empty.
do that without the fame and success already.
Exactly.
They just have this, social media facade.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, it's like, but then you go home, to your best friend's couch or whatever, and you're like,
Exactly.
do you feel good? Like,
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of us are putting up fronts. There are some people, and I'll be transparent, like, as inspiring upcoming artists. Like, I know when I was putting out songs from my first album, I had a lot of people like messaging me in my DMs, offering me to get on their playlist. And if I paid them a certain amount of money, it would guarantee me that amount of plays. And I knew that was like cap. I was like, that's not how it works. But there are artists who will do that to inflate their numbers to make it seem like they're more popping than they actually are, because it's all about the image.
right.
What do you think? I mean, you asked me some of these questions, and I guess I'll ask you this: do you think there is some truth to these conspiracies of like satanic cults or the Illuminati and the music industry?
It's hard to like deny or ignore. I'm more like of a realist and like a factual person.
Okay.
Which is something I'm struggling with, because obviously on my walk with God, it's, obedience, and that's blind faith.
Yeah.
In a sense. I can get into that another time, but I'm conflicted inside my head. So I'm wrestling with that. But anyway,
Okay.
I think there's too much proof to deny it, and then a big part of it, and this at the same token, is I do think that the industry is shoving it right in our faces and then being like, oh, you're crazy for thinking that, and laughing or whatever, just to cover it up.
Oh yeah, I mean what you just said right there, like automatically what came
Like
to my
hidden
head.
in plain sight.
Yeah, like what automatically came to my mind when you said that was that quote that says the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist.
Facts. Facts. That's a good one. Okay. Well, damn. We should end it right there. Shit. No, I'm glad you brought that up, and it is refreshing, again, as your manager, to sort of pick your brain apart on this topic. I mean, I thought I knew the answer, but having it affirmed is obviously gonna help me sleep at night sometimes. That you like, there's nothing that would make you sell your soul for, and not even just the music, like anything, because honestly, like, it sounds a little corny, I guess, to someone who's never heard it before, but eternity is literally so long. Like, our lives are just like, it's so crazy if you would sell your soul for something like tangible or materialistic on this planet. Like, that's just crazy to me. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that you wouldn't. And I really hope that more people, like not even artists, like anyone, would like stop and think about that, because like you said about like we both said actually earlier about how the devil could be disguised as your friend, or he doesn't even need to show up because you're already sinning enough. Like, it's almost too easy. Like Earth has been called like the devil's home.
Yeah.
Like, we're here, and it's like harder to have a relationship with God, and that's devastating.
100%. And to your point of what you were saying as far as like, sin being innate within us, not to get too preacher biblical, but that's what it says, like in the Bible, that literally God sent his only son to redeem us and save us from our own suffering. Like, he is the way, the light, like our salvation. It's like we cannot be cured of the sin within us unless we turn to God. So it's like you said, it
Yeah.
is the home of the devil. Like, we literally, once we turn off this mic, or even right now, just sitting in the planet, if I go outside, like, we're surrounded by sin all the time. The temptation is there. And it's like, it's up to us in order to be strong enough in our faith and have enough integrity and character to not be swayed by the influence of the world and the things that we see around us constantly.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer or anything, but I mean, Jesus can come back like now. That'd be
You
great.
say that all the time.
I do. That this world is fucked. Anyways, anyways, guys, I hope this like touched your heart or changed some of your minds. But again,
No, thank you for the questions and just the curiosity.
yeah, I mean, I think it's not talked about enough. At least in an open, honest format. So, thank you for participating.
Yeah, and I hope to the listeners we're not coming off as too preachy.
Either way, feel free to follow us on the gram and then DM us or message us on YouTube if you have like any questions or whatever. Cause like we said, we're behind the struggle just like you guys. Like anyone can do this. Like everyone has the potential.
Yeah, and and thank you guys for coming back to listen to us once again. Apologize if this was a little heavy for a return back for episode
I know.
1.
Sorry for the dark topic, but I mean, welcome to season 2. Guys, please check out our episode next week if you missed season 1 or even our in between vlogs. Check it out on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that follow button and subscribe.
Yes, and make sure you follow us on Behind the Struggle on YouTube, as well as Behind the Struggle on all streaming platforms, Spotify, where you can listen to our podcast and even listen to season 1 if you guys are just tuning in now. And as far as me, you can follow all my work in media through thisisceo.com.
And don't forget my TikTok at Asexia.
Stay plugging
And then
that.
my IG is at Lexia_Lou. For those of you who have made it this far in the podcast, thank you honestly so much for listening and being patient with this topic.
Indeed. And you guys take care, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, guys. Thank you.